Hello, this is Attorney Brian Pendergraft of Expungement, and I thought I would do a quick video on what charges are eligible for expungement in Maryland. So I cannot cover every scenario, but I'll do my best to cover enough to give you an understanding of what charges are eligible. So that said, after watching this video, if you still need help determining whether or not your charge is eligible for expungement, then do not hesitate to reach out to me. I do free assessments, and my contact information will be in the description. It will be in the description below. So let's get into it. So if you were found not guilty of your charge or your case was acquitted, then your case is most likely eligible for expungement. If your case was dismissed or quashed, your case is most likely eligible for expungement. So if your case resulted in a probation before judgment on a crime that is no longer a crime, then your case is most likely eligible for expungement. If you were given a probation before judgment on for a crime that is still a crime, then your case is most likely eligible for expungement if 3 years have passed since you have finished probation or your sentence. So if your case resulted in the disposition of not prosecuted or nolle prosequi, or your case is most likely eligible for expungement. If you were found not criminally responsible for certain crimes and 3 years have passed, your case is most likely eligible for expungement. If you were charged with assault and the state filed a motion to dismiss the case and the defendant and the victim and the court essentially agree to it, then your case is most likely expungible after 3 years. If your case was transferred to juvenile court, it may be expungible, at least from the general public record. And now, most of those scenarios that I gave above, that resulted, those were cases in which the charge did not result in a guilty plea or a guilty verdict. However, certain crimes are expungible even if they resulted in a guilty plea or guilty verdict. So that said, I'm going to try to go through those scenarios now. So if you were found guilty of a crime that is no longer a crime, then your case is most likely eligible for expungement. If you were convicted of certain nuisance crimes, such as panhandling, loitering, or urinating in public, then the record is most likely eligible for expungement. If you were found guilty of possession of marijuana and 4 years have passed since the disposition, your case is most likely eligible for expungement. If you have been convicted of certain misdemeanor crimes pursuant to the Maryland Code and 10 years have passed since then, since the sentence, and you have not been convicted of any crime since then your case may be eligible for expungement. If you need help determining what misdemeanors are eligible for expungement in Maryland, then feel free to reach out to me. And, again, I'll be happy to do a free assessment for you. If you've been convicted of certain felony crimes pursuant to the Maryland Code, then after 15 years after serving your sentence or probation, and if you have been found not guilty of any other crime since then your case may be eligible for expungement. So if you need help determining what felonies are eligible for expungement, then feel free to reach out to me for a free assessment. So if you have been found guilty of common law battery or for an offense classified as a domestically related crime, and 15 years have passed since serving the sentence, and you have not been found guilty of any crime since then your case may very well be eligible for expungement. A quick thing that I think I should probably point out, and at least related to the last few scenarios that I mentioned, is that particularly for the last few scenarios that I mentioned, is that the state's attorney and the victims of the crime will be notified of the petition, and they will be given an opportunity to respond, generally about 30 days. Now that happens in in every expungement if there's a victim, but particularly there was, like, let's say an assault after 15 years or so, then the state or perhaps the victim, they may still want to object. So it's just an important principle that I think you should know. And if they object, there will most likely be a hearing. So I think that's just an important principle, because just because the charge is eligible for expungement, it doesn't mean it may necessarily be granted, or the court may want to have a hearing to see if there's to see what should be done. So that about wraps it up. I hope that I've helped you determine what charges are eligible for expungement here in Maryland. And if you have any questions about, whether or not your case is eligible for expungement, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you would like to perhaps work with me to have your Maryland criminal record or your traffic record expunged, then feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the description. Thanks for watching.